there are hundreds of thousands of cats on the streets here, and if I can't take them, then they just die on the streets. And
Hmm.
that's the hard part of doing what we do is if I don't take it, it's going to die.
Don't just sit back and be an observer in life, but reach out and do a little bit. Because even if you help one animal, it's starting to create a ripple effect, right? You go out of your way to do one little thing. It adds up. Hey, I'm Dr. Doug. I'm a chiropractor for both animals and humans. My life's passion is volunteering at farms and helping rescue animals in need. Join me as we connect with people who have dedicated their lives to helping animals. Together, we'll discover how helping animals live better lives will teach us to be better humans. Welcome to the Animal Cracker Podcast. And we're honored to have Lynea, the driving force behind the Cat House on the Kings. This sanctuary of hers has changed countless cat lives, and we're excited to hear her story. I am so excited to have you here, Lynea. Thank you for tuning in. Now, I'm on New York City on the East Coast, and you're in California today. Is that true?
Correct. Right in the center.
And you're kind of near Fresno, right?
Correct. We're in Fresno County.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit of how you got started. I mean, you were a surgical veterinarian tech for how many years?
I think it was 3 years, and I became that in order to help with the animals. I needed to learn more about their health and their well-being and their spays and their neuters and all that. So after I started rescue, then a year later, I went to work for the vet.
Okay. And then how many years have you been in this cat sanctuary world?
It will be 33 years come March that I've been doing
Wow.
this. Over
Wow.
40, well over 40,000 rescues.
Wow. 40,000 rescues. And
40,000.
I know the number fluctuates almost daily, but from one of the people that you work with, Beth, she said that you'll average somewhere around 1,500 cats at any given time. That's about right, right? I mean,
I would say that
yeah.
it's a seasonal thing. Kitten season starts, and we'll have well over 300 kittens here and another 150 in foster care. And then we'll have the 700 adults, which stays about, even thereabouts. So it can get anything over 1,000 very easily. And I don't think we get below that until like March, April, May, when most of our kittens are adopted or sent to rescue. And
Mhm.
then we have like a little bit of lull, and by then all the people are going, "Where's the kittens? Where's the kittens?" I need a kitten. So it's kind of interesting that they're saying I've
Yeah.
got too much to do, and then I go, "I want a kitten."
Wow. I mean, I don't want to spend a lot of time on the numbers, but one thing that I thought was really interesting was you'll use close to 900 or 1,000 pounds of cat litter a week. That's crazy. And 1,500 pounds of dry food, another 1,000 cans of wet food. So, and that's more for the seniors that can't, nibble or, maybe digest or chew, masticate the kibble. But it's just such a big thing. And what's really interesting about your place is it's a no kill and no cage, right?
Correct. It's a 12-acre sanctuary on the Kings River between Sanger and Reedley, which is 30 minutes southeast of Fresno. We now have
Mhm.
over 25 acres, but only 13 right now are being used as the sanctuary.
I mean, I'm really curious if you could just give us kind of the origin time, the time when you went from where you started to how it's grown incredibly now. Like there must have been that starting time before you even knew what this could possibly be, right?
That is a part of the dynamic. I did not realize what I was getting myself into until I bought a 4,200 square foot 5-bedroom home on the Kings River on 6 acres, and I was single with no children. And I thought, you are really, you're making a big error here because now you have to take care of all this. And 9 years later, my dad asked me to find him two kittens, and that's the beginning of the end of my life.
Did you have any cats as pets prior to this? Like at that other parts of your life? Were you always like the cat woman that everybody knew had two or three cats at any given time?
When I was a child, all I ever wanted was a kitten, and my mom wouldn't let me have one. So I guess I paid her back big time. And when I moved here, I had four cats, and they were three of them were Abyssinians, and one was a mutt I rescued, and then they started from there.
Did you find the cats for your dad then? You needed to find him.
No, he was looking for a specific tailless. They have no tails or short tails, and
Mhm.
so I went from place to place to place to place, and there were none. And I ended up volunteering at a small rescue in Sanger, and I started bottle feeding for them. They said, "No, we don't have a Manx, but we need somebody to take care of these kittens because they were coming in at 3 weekend. They were 3 weeks old, so they needed bottle feeding for a couple weeks." And I had never done anything like that, and I ended up brought home five, and then by the time it was finished, I had 15. And they got sick, and so I was taking these pathetic little creatures from one vet to another. By the end of the year, I had rescued 96, and I said, and I got homes for them. So I said, well, this is easy. It's a piece of cake. I could do this. And that's how it started. Next year I had 35 left over, and then it just kept going up. There's always room for one more.
And you've also worked with some severely medically challenged cats along the way. And I remember because I read her website has so much information. What's the website at catonthekings.com? Is Cat House on the
Cat
Kings?
House on the Kings, yes.
Yeah,
.com.
cathouseonthekings.com. And you guys have a ICU unit. You have really like a animal hospital at the facility because you handle medically fragile animals quite a bit.
We have two ICUs actually. We have a hospital
Mm.
room. We have a kitten quarantine building. It's a really big building that we keep the sick kittens in because they're so they can catch anything and it's very easily passed. So we separate them right away. We have some sick rooms for the seniors. Everybody's got a little niche. So we do have to
Mhm.
take care. We took them in and we have to provide them with all the care that they need. We do work with some vets. One of them, it just does our spays and neuters or removes eyes or things like that. And then the other one is in Fresno, and they do the more difficult procedures for us, like broken
Yeah.
legs and stuff.
I mean, you must have people going or staff bringing cats back and forth almost daily during the Monday through Friday work week, right?
Yes,
To get
yeah. I see the employees. Everybody's leaving with a carrier these days, and in it are sick
yeah.
kittens or whatever. So they all get
Mm.
involved, and they all take it to heart, and they're a very good group, very good team.
That's great. Tell people what FIV is, and how you are working with the FIB or FIP. But let's start with FIV and what that means, and like what's your approach when a cat with feline immunodeficiency virus comes to your facility?
There's a bit of a problem and a mistake about the FIV cats. They're not
Mhm.
contagious if they're neutered. Uh, it's only passed by a deep puncture wound, and so therefore, if they're not neutered and they're not breeding, then they're not going to fight unless it's an aggressive cat, in which case we separate it out right away. We quarantine them to protect them because they have the compromised immune system. We don't protect my cats, the other cats, from them because they're not going to make my cat sick. I've had them escape before and eat at my house with my own cats, and it didn't bother me one bit
Mhm.
because they're not going to get anybody sick.
So with FIV, which is like I said before, a feline immunodeficiency virus. I mean, I when I was studying, we thought of that as almost like HIV for a cat. Is that
Correct.
true? Or
Yes.
okay, so I'm okay on that. And was that at times thought to be a death sentence for a cat? Like if it had that, it's you might as well just euthanize it. It's not going anywhere.
That was the consensus of the veterinarians. They said,
Yeah, so
"Oh
that
yeah,
was
we can't be around anybody," and that was very wrong, and they're changing that attitude now.
mhm.
But yeah, they used to kill them immediately. Leukemia is a whole different ballgame. That is contagious, and you have to separate those guys.
And you've had some good success stories with some FIV cats, right?
We've actually
In your
adopted some out. Yeah,
yeah, that's great. Now, what's FIP? That's one I didn't really know about, and I'll have to read up on it more. Um, but can you tell us what that stands for?
that's feline infectious peritonitis, and that is a coronavirus, kind of like COVID, and it mutates in about 5% of the animals. Almost all cats have it. Like I would say that my cats 90% of them have been exposed to that. But in 5% of them, it'll mutate, and then it becomes active form of FIP. There's the dry form and the wet form, but it was always fatal. And whenever you saw a kitten in there, it's certain age groups, especially like under 4 months or under a year, and then over 7 years. Those are the age groups that get it. In the middle, they don't usually get FIP.
So it's almost like a little hidden time bomb, and if it gets activated, that could be death. But if
It,
it
yeah,
but others are just carrying that virus their whole lives, live a happy, healthy life, and they're not the wiser for it. But if you're the few percentage where it activates, that could be the end of that cat, correct? In
correct.
the in under standard times,
For
but
in the past, that's always fatal.
in the
Always.
past, yeah, always fatal. And then you've been working successfully with some of those cases. Could you tell us a little bit how that came about?
About a year ago, there was a doctor or a scientist at UC Davis who came up with a cure for FIP, because we've been working on this for 20, 30 years, and there was nothing, no potential to find a cure. Then he finds it, but he won't let them use it on cats because of some thing about it. It is like the COVID, and he would prefer that we used all this knowledge on humans and not on animals. So even though we have a cure, we can't buy it in the United States. So we have to get it from China, and it costs getting it from China $500 a cat. But
Wow.
without this medication, they would die. So we have done probably several hundred so far. The rate of is 85% survival rate now.
Right. So
It's
you went from 0% survival to 85% survival, but it
and it's a
comes with the
12-week
cost.
treatment. Yeah, 12-week treatment.
12-week treatment, but it comes with the price of 500 a cat. I mean, your organization always is relying on people getting involved. And one of the things I'm going to put up here is also the direct page to your donation part of your page. And one of the reasons why I do what I do, I'm an animal chiropractor, and I do see some dogs or cats that'll privately come to my office during my human hours where I'm working with humans. But on the weekends, a passion of mine is going to rescue places. I go to horse rescue and pig rescue and farm animal rescue, and I go as a volunteer. I don't charge for that. And I get to film, and I enjoy filming for my YouTube channel. That's a passion of mine. And I also get to educate, I hope. People learn from it and also opens their mind and their awareness. But I also can bring attention to the listeners or the people watching my videos to maybe possibly donate or support or just be aware of the work that these wonderful rescue places are doing. So I'm moved by what you guys do, and I would love people to know about your work. And if they feel like they could get involved or behind you in some way, you're not just rescuing and adopting, but you're also working at the forefront of feline healthcare, and you're in there in the trenches. So people, even if they're anywhere in the world, their cat might have to deal with this, and the work that you guys are doing is going to affect the lives of their domestic cat wherever they're living and future generations. So I think your work is monumental, and I'm very impressed.
It's I think with the FIP treatment, we are reaching people that know about it. It's on the website, et cetera, that have not had a chance with their own cats because they can't get the medication. But now we can tell them how to get it on their own, even if their vet won't get it for them.
Right. And that's so important. And imagine I don't know if people are picturing this, but you bring this kitten home and you're madly in love with your kitten, and then you get this crazy diagnosis that says your cat needs to be euthanized. Your cat might only be 4 months old or 6 months old. That's like someone ripping your child away from you. And cat people know what I'm talking about. Animal people know what I'm talking about. And but there is a possibility they can go to your website and have an 85% chance of maybe turning this around. So, really cool stuff. Really amazing. Can you share with us maybe a couple of stories? Let's just start with one of like a cat or a kitten that you bought in that just touched your heart that you'll always remember. Do you have any stories like that you could share with us? Because I think
I
that's really, really nice.
I have a lot of them. One of them that you would enjoy because you're a chiropractor is we they found at the bottom of an empty swimming pool this red mother cat, red tabby, and her kittens were on the steps trying to get to her. She was paralyzed from the waist down. She could not move at all. And we had somebody that works with wildlife, and she has this technique. In fact, I should connect you with her. She's just unique, and she works with opossums normally. And she'll take an opossum that's paralyzed and bring it back. And ironically, this mother cat who couldn't walk for months finally came completely out of it and runs the facility here. She goes everywhere. So that's one that really makes you feel good about what we do. And another that are like unbelievably good luck stories is one of them. One of my employees, his name is Armando, was coming to work from home, and saw this cat dragging itself out of a cemetery on the road he was traveling on, and he brought it in, and it was full of maggots. I mean, the maggots were everywhere. They were eating him alive.
Hmm.
And I brought him into my house and cleaned him up and did this, and we really worked very hard for a very long time. And he ended up being a beautiful cat, getting adopted to somebody that's in Marin. Go figure. And Marin is a very upscale part of California, and they would send me pictures where they boarded him, and they were paying 150 a night to board him whenever they took a trip. I go, that was a dead cat walking, crawling, and now he's living the lap of luxury, and he turned
Yes.
into a long-haired Maine Coon. He had
Oh,
nothing
really nice.
when we got him. He didn't. Oh, it was awful. And then another one, he was covered in mange. He had no hair. He couldn't open his eyes. He was just this oozing, sickly, uh, covered with this, and he ended up being a Maine Coon, and he got adopted too. He was just gorgeous, and you go, wow. From what they started out as, look at them. Would you look at them now?
Have you do you have any, I mean, not to be create a down energy, but do you have any that just broke your heart that, you just could not believe where they came from, and
Oh yeah,
that
we've had
to this day it still creates a sadness for you?
the ones where it's humans that have caused the issue. Those are the ones that are the hardest
Yeah.
because we've had kittens where they had walked across, the fly paper or the mouse paper that's sticky. Uh,
Yeah.
it just and it coated their whole bodies, and they couldn't open their eyes or anything. Their legs were all stuck together. And one, they put glue on them and put them in a paper bag and hung them on a doorknob. And I'm going, why? I I,
Mm,
I
yeah.
think we're spaying and neutering the wrong species
Ah,
sometimes.
sometimes, people ask me, do I prefer working with humans or animals? And it's hard to answer that question. But
They around here, they know my answer.
right, have you seen like a cat that was so abused and scared, and then comes out of its shell and becomes one of the stars of your facility? Comes like a personality that everybody loves.
That one would be that his name was James Madison because he was found at James Madison School, and he turned out to
Yeah.
be the most beautiful cat that ran up to everybody. Everybody wanted to adopt him, and one of the vet techs says, "No, I don't want him to go. I worked so hard on him." I said, "He deserves a life. We saved him not
Yeah.
to keep him." And they have a hard time with that. They get attached. And I have 45 paid employees. All these people that work here are paid. You
Wow.
can't have this many animals and expect volunteers to come every day. We have 7 or 8 or more in the vet tech staff. We have
Wow.
10 or more in housekeeping. We have all these maintenance and all of these people, all these places have to be taken care of. And that's what we're really well known for, is with all the animals that we have, there is no odor. And people say, it doesn't smell. It doesn't smell. And I said, my employees get one rule. If it smells like pee, it's pee. If it smells like poop, it's poop. And if it smells like nothing, it's nothing. And it better smell like nothing. So there's no odor.
there was a water shortage in New York City like 30, 40 years ago, and the mayor was who was the mayor back then? I think it was Hugh Carey, but he had this saying, because we were having this horrible water shortage: if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. and that
That
became a
would be a nice
T-shirt.
t-shirt. Yes.
That was that became a bumper sticker. It was like a slogan. If it's yellow, let it mellow. Means don't flush the toilet because it's only yellow. But if it's brown, you got to use the
Yeah.
water for that one. So you know, it's interesting because I saw a video that I guess there's a lot of stuff on her on social media and YouTube, and so you could go to Cat House on the Kings and see her YouTube channel. I'll put up the link and put it in the description box. But there's a it seems like a nice young man came and shot like a little interview style mini documentary on you. And one of the things he said in the video is he goes, "I'm here now at this place with like 1,000 cats and it doesn't smell." And he was so shocked by that because he goes, personally, he had two or three cats, and if they don't change the litter in a couple of days, his house smells. The guy that
Yes.
was interviewing you, and
Yes.
then, but he goes, here I'm with 1,000 cats, and the most astonishing thing is it doesn't smell here because you guys, get rid
We
of
got
it.
it down. We can write a
Yeah.
book on this. Yeah.
Yes. So that's amazing. Do you getting back to James Madison, the cat? I just wanted to hear. Did he have really a tough life before he got to you guys? So was he
Oh,
in bad shape when he arrived?
he was the one that had mange who couldn't open his eyes. He was one
Oh wow.
hairless and crusty and in pain and bleeding sores. And he was found at a grammar school. And the teacher sent me a photo, and I go, "Oh gosh, bring him out." And within a month, he was this beautiful creature. We
Yeah.
cured the mange, but then he had to grow his hair back, and when he grew it out, he was gorgeous.
Right. He became the celebrity of the place for a little while. And
Yeah,
did you
until
find did you find a nice home for him? Is he?
yes, yes.
That's
And then
great.
the other one was Armando was our employee that found the one that with the maggots, and so we named him
Mm.
Mondo. We try to keep it toward something so we can all remember the animal. So the school, and then Armando, Mondo for Armando, and things like that.
I'm sure you get pregnant cats sometimes, right? That they, as soon as you get to your place, they have some kittens, right?
No, no. What we do is we try to get them spayed before they. Uh,
Okay.
and we, where we are, Fresno is the highest kill rate in the United States. There are hundreds of thousands of cats on the streets here, and they don't take them even to kill them. The city of Fresno, the county of Fresno, all these little towns around here, nobody takes cats even to kill them. So if I don't take them, there's three other rescues. But I mean, I'm the one with all the property, and if I can't take them, then they just die on the streets. And
Hmm.
that's the hard part of doing what we do is if I don't take it, it's going to die. And how many of those can you take?
Have you run into over the last 30 years? Have you run into like local, either municipal authority that has not been happy with your work, or neighbors that complain and feel like they give you a hard time for doing the work that you do? Has that?
When I first
Yeah.
started, um, I had actually, I now own their property. They went into foreclosure and bankruptcy. I won. And they complained because I got mad at their daughter who was living in a trailer on my property. And I said, "You can't put your trailer on my driveway. That there's a 10-foot setback here." So they called this county and said I had too many cats. And so they said I had 2 weeks to get rid of 150 of them. And I
Oh
ignored it.
wow.
And then a year later, they came back and I had 300. And so I went in front of the board of supervisors, and there was so much commotion and so much anger at them for trying to put down somebody that's doing something good when Fresno doesn't even they're miserably inadequate at taking care of the animals. So there was so much support for me that they said, "Well, then how many cats do you want?" And I said 500, thinking I'll never have 500. Well, now I have 12 acres. Now I have 500, more than 500. I figure
Way
700
more.
an acre, right?
Yeah. And that was so ironic that what you just told me, that your area has the highest kill rate, and then that's where you happen to have one of the. I mean, from what I researched, you might have the largest cat no kill, no cage shelter in the United States, I think, is or close to it,
I
right?
would say
Yeah.
we are. In
Yeah.
fact, even in Europe, we have people. We've been on Australian TV, Japanese TV, Great Britain TV, Korean TV. All over the world,
Mm.
and all of those people that contact us say that this is the only one like it. So
Yeah,
we're
that's what I found. Yeah, when I was researching it, I mean, I couldn't find anything that proved me differently, but it sounded like you have the largest of this kind in the United States or the world itself of the type of work you're doing, and you're saving lives, and not only that, but also working in the forefront, in my opinion, of some of the deadly diseases cats face, which is the FIV, like which is like HIV, or FIP, which up until recently was known as instant, you know, death. Like that's just not going to work. So, really cool stuff. Just wanted to know to ask you, what's the best way for people to support you if they are so moved to get behind some of your stuff? Should they go to your donation site? Is there do people come visit? Do you allow visitors to come through? What are some of the things like that?
Well, we have visitors that come from all over the world. The farthest that I can remember was from Australia. Husband and wife came here on their honeymoon. They're in their 20s. They get home
Mhm.
and then they want to adopt the cat that was in the. We have a guest room for humans, and they wanted to adopt one of the cats. You know how long it took us to get one cat to Australia? Like
I've
6 months.
Whoa,
And we have people that come from all over the world. We have like 1 million on Facebook, but only a certain percentage of them stay active. So joining us on Facebook is very helpful. And because when we have kittens that get out of control with the number and the food and everything, the person that does the Facebook puts something out there, and then there's for a week we just get truck after truck after truck after truck dropping off kitten food. So it
that's so
does
good.
work. It does help, and without that, we would really be struggling.
Yeah, that's so awesome, and it's really cool that that you have actual staff people there. You don't have to hope that a few volunteers show up once in a while, and so you really have a real place that has to run like a business. I mean, it has all this altruistic, this heart, this passion, but when it comes down to it, bills have to get paid. There's employees that have to, cats that have to be fed, poop that has to be picked up, and that's the heart of running a business. And there's plenty of heart in your business, but there's also the nuts and bolts of it. And that's why I really do like, at least I hope that some of my video work that I do will trickle down into people clicking on your website, going to your Facebook group, being involved, at least paying attention is a good way to start. If people are not really ready to contribute yet, at least they can pay attention. And knowing that your cat, and spread the word, and knowing the cat that is in your house right now, the cat that you're petting, if you have a cat in your house, might be vulnerable to a disease that, you've been involved with helping, change the future with. So it's really cool.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. Thank you so much for being a part of this today. And I'm so impressed with what you do and who you are as a person. It's very, I just admire you so much.
I would love for you to come out if you're ever in California. Come on out. I will
I'm
give
going
you
to
a
have
card,
to.
and we have a guest room. If you like animals,
Oh,
open the door, and it's in a senior house, and you'll get 35 cats in there with you.
all right. Now, will you have a couple of cats that I can do my cat adjustment on? I'm very
Sure.
good with ones
Yeah,
that
and
are,
me too. Yeah, we'll all get in
uh,
there.
all right, because that's me. That's what I do. I help everybody around me, both animal and people.
Well, I have a dog right now that's going to UC Davis in 2 weeks for major
Mm,
surgery on her leg. So
yeah.
when you come out, hopefully you can make her feel a little better. It's a
All
seven
right.
thousand dollars a leg, 7 to 10,000 a leg, and she needs two legs done.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
and I
lot.
feel
Okay.
terrible about it, but she's only a year and a half, and I can't just let her suffer.
We have to help. We got to
We signed
try.
up for it. We took them in.
Yep. All right. Lots of love to you and happy holidays and happy new year. And if people are watching, even on YouTube, just leave her a comment, connect, engage. Don't just sit back and be an observer in life, but reach out and do a little bit. Because even if you help one animal, it's starting to create a ripple effect, right? You go out of your way to do one little thing, it adds up. It really added up in your life, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah, a
went
little
from you went
overdone here, right?
Yeah, you went from helping a little bit to 40,000 cats later. She's still helping. What do you see for the future before we sign off? Like, what would you hope? I mean, I don't know how old you are. You don't have to say out loud, but like, I'm not going to be around forever, and none of us are. Like, what would you hope is the legacy of this work? Will it carry on, and hopefully people pick up the mantle?
Well, in a couple of months, I'll be 75. So I've been doing
Okay.
this for the the best part of my life. And then
Mhm.
we have it coming up behind me. I have an assistant director, and then she has somebody that she's training after her. She's 60. I'm 75. So you can see we've kind of sort of worked it through. And we have
Mhm.
employees that have been here 15 years. So as long as they stay, and they're all in their 30s, so as long as they stay, the place will run as it has been without a problem.
If there was anything that you could have done differently, would you have taken any different moment or advice from yourself and started differently or traveled these steps differently?
I think when I moved here, there was a reason that I moved here, and it was like divine intervention. I don't know what you want to call it, but somebody had a plan for me that I didn't know about. That's how I feel, because when I moved here, it was like I had a neighbor that we used to do all kinds of stuff together, but it was not fulfilling. It was not, it was just doing stuff. And
Mhm.
then when this started, I had a purpose, and
Yeah.
it stayed that way for 33 years, a purpose.
And the purpose took over, right?
We call it cat heaven and dog Disneyland. So yeah, I think the people appreciate what we do. It's all grass and trees and the river. And I mean, talk about it. If you're
Yeah,
homeless, you could do worse.
that's true. There's an old saying, I don't know where it derived from. It might have even been an old Yiddish saying, but it basically means man plans and God laughs. And to me, what that means is we all think like, I have this plan. I'm going to get out of school and do this, and I'm going to make these plans, and God or whoever is up there laughing because it might not work out that way.
Yeah.
And very often, the humor of it is and hopefully it does work out this way, where you finally find your calling, or what really touches your heart the deepest. But hopefully what unfolds for you is what you really needed most. And so we might have these plans, but God is chuckling because it might unfold a different way. And it seems like the way your life unfolded is just magical.
God had a plan,
Yeah,
for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. Well, thank you so much, and
It was a
we'll
pleasure.
talk soon.
It was a pleasure.
Okay.
Hope you can come out. Thank you.
Yes, I will. I'm going to do that. Thank you.